John.
The philosophy of science is, and like any philosophy, is about the assumptions underlying a way of viewing reality. Within the academic world today, the assumption is that consciousness, we don't really know what it is, but it's probably something produced by the brain, in which case it's completely limited to your ordinary senses. Our view of reality is produced by local senses in your body. That makes telepathy and clairvoyance and all the rest not possible. But since we know that it is possible, that means that some elements of our worldview today, based on materialism, are simply wrong. And so the reason why I wrote the book Supernormal and then wrote the book Real Magic was to look at other worldviews that have been around for tens of thousands of years. We call them esoteric now, as compared to materialism. And within the esoteric worldviews, all of these phenomena we're talking about now are easy to understand
Normal,
because that's the way the world is. So I think what's happening is science as a method is really powerful, and it's slowly moving in the direction of saying, oh, well, okay, the world is not the way that Newton was describing. It's not even the way that we understood at the beginning of the 20th century. But over the course from the 20th, over that 100-year period, our understanding of what material meant radically changed, as did our understanding of space and time and all of these very fundamental things. They're totally different than they were 100 years ago. And more importantly, they're different in the direction that make them more and more compatible with the experiences that we're talking about. So science is not finished, and physics is certainly not finished. And if you keep going on that arrow, I think we'll eventually begin to converge more and more with some elements of the esoteric traditions. And the way we're going to do that, I would predict then, is that there's something about consciousness which is way more important than we had previously thought. It is not part of physics today, but I think in the future it will be.
And before I touch on the technological aspect of that question, there is something that you alluded to and I'm not sure which book it was, with the evidence that we have for paranormal abilities and comparing it to, I believe, smoking. Am I remembering this correctly? Or for the dangers of smoking? Am I citing that correctly? Something along the lines of the evidence or the amount of knowledge that we now have based on, what you've found, the studies that have been run. We have so much more evidence of that being possible, of some of these abilities or regardless, versus how much we know about how bad smoking is for us.
Yeah, you might be referring to a comparison of the effect sizes in the experiments that we do now as compared to the effect size of aspirin. So with aspirin, we know that if you take an aspirin, it will help prevent a second heart attack. And this is based on 50,000 people or so who are involved in this long-term study. The effect is real. It's really small. It's a tiny little effect. So it won't help everybody, but on average, over a long term, yeah, it does something. So by comparison, then one of my books, I mentioned that the effect size for what we can see in the laboratory in terms of telepathy is way bigger than what we accept with aspirin, even though up until recently, we didn't even know how aspirin worked. Well, now we do, but it took 100 years after people were using aspirin to figure out, why does this thing actually work? Well, it's similar then to, we don't exactly know why any of these psychic phenomena work, but we can demonstrate that they do work.